many Kongs will it take to defeat the unstoppable Burning Godzilla? Last week we answered the question of how many Kongs it would take to defeat GVK Godzilla. But now both parties upgrade. Godzilla is now in his debatably most powerful form ever, and we saw how well Kong did against a much weaker Godzilla. So is victory even possible for the 8th Wonder? Well, what if I told you it was? I know I sound like a madman right now, and many of you want to throw me in Arkham Asylum for that statement alone. But let me cook. We will be replacing King Ghidorah with Kong, or several Kongs, to solve just how many it'll take to defeat Burning Godzilla. If these How Many series catches your interest, which I got multiple requests, and I'm still brewing up a bunch of ideas for these, be sure to like and subscribe. It'll let me know you guys want more of these. But without further ado, let's dive
Blood
right
will
on.
never pay his bills.
Kong keeps his title as king locked, embarrassing the most powerful grade 8 prior to himself, turning Mechagodzilla into Lego pieces. Both of these two had Godzilla on the ropes at certain points in time. Kong himself boxed with Goji, making GVK Goji bleed and knocked all of the ore out it evolved. For the rest of the movie, he was looking around like these. Pretty good stuff. But how does Burning Godzilla's amp compare to these forms? Starting with the aura farming goat King Ghidorah, who was not to be played with, stated to be a titan far above the rest, and he proved it, flipping Godzilla over like some pancakes and slamming him out into the chasm of doom. All of that while Ghidorah wasn't even at his peak yet. Godzilla then got a mixtape blown in his face and supercharges from that, becoming way more stronger. Then he goes band for band with a prime King Ghidorah to King Ghidorah absorbing a power grid and then wrecking this supercharged Godzilla. Then Mothra's energy fuses with that energized Godzilla, creating an overcharge, and then King Ghidorah got atomized, even blasting all 3 gravity beams, and they couldn't even make him budge. And if you're wondering why I did all of that rumbling, it's pretty much just to say Kong is doomed. Base King Ghidorah and Base Godzilla are already stated to be a league above Kong. To be fair, it's without his weapons. But even with the axe, he's still a victim. And with the Beast Glove, he was getting stomped into Flat Stanley. He would have pulled up on Scar King and his army looking like this if it weren't for the sand. And Base Evolved is not on Burning's tier. That's more so supercharged. And so no matter how you spin it, Kong can't hang with Burning. So I might as well just end the video here. GG's, goodbye everybody. Or is it? The thing is about Burning Godzilla, he's temporary. 3 pulses and he reverts back to normal. So the key here is to outlast those blasts. But how can he do that? Now it's time to start multiplying to solve this case. Round 1, let's get 2 Kongs in there, and would you look at that, they're dead. A shock to literally nobody. Even if the Beast Glove or the axe could take the impact, which they can't, but even if they could, the rest of the Kong's body is not as durable. So once that omnidirectional blast hits their exposed bodies, maybe Kong's hands survive, but the rest of them? Okay, well then let's double that. Last time when we had 4 to 5 Kongs, they got the W on Godzilla. So is there a difference here? Well, no, because that's a significantly weaker Godzilla. Well, then let's double that. Double it to 8 Kongs. Kong has consistently shown he can outspeed Goji in combat. And with 8 of them surrounding him, Godzilla's never gonna get the chance to attack. He's gonna get jumped from all sides. Well, he would, if their punches could literally do anything. If a juiced up Ghidorah couldn't even tickle Burning, any attacks the Kongs will try will be utterly useless. And just like that, all 8 of the Kongs getting vaporized. It's pretty clear in this situation, a relatively small number of Kongs just is not gonna cut it. So we really need to up the numbers. As a coach for the Kongs, I don't wanna just throw Kongs in there. We need to actually do this strategically. I now introduce the Colossal Titan Wall Strat. All I need is just 1 Beast Glove Kong to survive. And in order to do that, we need to build him an offensive lineup of Kongs. We know the smaller numbers won't be enough, so let's bump it up to a good 300 to maybe even 500 Kongs, all surrounding Godzilla like the ninjas against Mothra. The moment Burning Godzilla starts charging up, the Kong might mistake it as the atomic breath, so they might use the axe or some buildings to try to block it. And little do they know, that is not going to save them. But hopefully this gives our 1 Beast Glove enough time and defense to run and dive into the ocean before the big Omega Blast, which on screen didn't seem to hit the water, so this might be his opening. And also, the blast might not even get that powerful, because Burning Godzilla absorbed King Ghidorah's gravity beams to even get stronger. So it might not get as bad as that, but either way, he really does need to get out of that vicinity regardless. Kong can run up to 400 miles per hour, meaning he should be able to run 9 miles in 1 second. Boston itself is around 8 miles long, and Burning takes around 5 seconds to charge up. Meaning, our special Beast Glove Kong could use that time to escape, while the rest of the Kongs gotta take it for the team. But once all the Kongs have been vaporized and Burning used all his 3 pulses, now it's our turn to play offense. Godzilla was not crippled after using his Burning form. He didn't even faint after using all of that energy. But he's not at his peak either. He's battered and bruised, as clearly seen with a piece of bro's head is missing, meaning Godzilla's weakened. And that's just enough for my MVP Kong to get to work. Blitzkrieg Kong with a charged punch had Godzilla looking over there, and eventually TKO him after a fury of punches. Mind you, Evolved is more powerful than Energized, and Energized is more powerful than 27 base, which is stronger than 2019 base, which is stronger than this injured state. You get what I'm saying here? Kong shows relativity and speed with a faster Evolved Godzilla and hurting him, meaning he speed blitzes his weakened Godzilla, and them Beast Club punches will not feel nice, especially with that already wounded noggin. Thus, we have our MVP Kong locking in and giving us that W. I would like to take my trophy, please and thank you. Y'all didn't believe in the process, but I told y'all he could do it. I told y'all it was possible. But there might be a few of you not convinced and still think it's impossible for any number of Kongs could win. And I don't know, but I think you're on some offer dust, buddy. I present the Infinite Kong Army. Just to make it overkill, they all get axes and beast gloves. No, they can't harm him in his burning form, but bro's gonna run out of energy after taking out a few hundred or less. And then he's gonna be reverted back to his weakest safe left to deal with an infinite amount of Kongs. And Buddy is not winning that. That's not even taking into account an infinite amount of Kongs probably would cover the whole universe, so they might just destroy reality with that ridiculous number of Kongs. Yeah, Kong's got it in game 1. We don't even need a full series. But what do you guys think? Do you think my wall strat was effective? How would you guys formulate a plan to defeat Burning Godzilla? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, recommend some more how many X characters is needed to beat X character. We can do one with how many Rodans to beat Ghidorah, how many Ion Dragons to beat Godzilla, etc. There's so many we can do. But with all of that out of the way, I'll catch y'all later.